If there is one mistake I see contractors make over and over again in the field, it is treating a ratio like 5 to 1 or 4 to 1 as if it tells you how strong your cleaning mix actually is. It really doesn't. A ratio on its own is, well, it's completely meaningless unless you know the exact strength of the stock chemical sitting in your drum before you pour it. Think about it this way. If you pick up a drum of fresh trade sodium hypochlorite at 15% strength and you dilute that 5 to 1, that means 1 part chemical and 5 parts water. That is 6 total parts. So you take 15% stock chemical strength and divide it by those 6 total parts. What do you get? Exactly 2.5% active sodium hypochlorite landing on the surface. But if your mate down the road is using old, degraded 10% stock that has been sitting in a warm van for 3 weeks, his 5 to 1 mix works out to 10 divided by 6. That is only 1.66% active chemical. Same ratio on paper, but 2 completely different working strengths on site. I was actually on a site visit a few months back watching a contractor treat a domestic property. He told me he was running a nice, gentle 4 to 1 mix on a delicate monocouche render wall. He thought 4 to 1 was just a standard, safe default. The problem was, he had just picked up a brand new batch of fresh 15% standard trade hypo that morning. So, let us do the math on that. 1 part chemical plus 4 parts water equals 5 total parts. 15% divided by 5 total parts is a massive 3.0% active solution. And what happened? Well, 3% active chemical on coloured render is way, way too aggressive. It burned the delicate pigments in the render, left permanent patchy white spots, and the heavy off-gassing stripped the leaves off the homeowner's prize roses right below the wall. All because he thought 4 to 1 meant safe, without calculating the active percentage first. There is this common myth that ramping up the active chemical percentage makes the job go twice as fast. But here is what really happens with surface porosity and absorption. If you do not achieve proper surface wetting, cranking up the active strength does not speed up biological kill time at all. It just increases the risk of severe chemical burn, causes harsh fumes, and wastes expensive product. Surface absorption and proper dwell time do the real work, not raw chemical horsepower. So how do we eliminate the guesswork and work like true professionals? It comes down to setting targeted active percentages for the specific job in front of you. For light green algae on modern render, you do not need 3%. You usually only need around 1.5% active sodium hypochlorite. If you have a 15% stock drum, how do you get 1.5%? You need 10 total parts, which means a 9 to 1 dilution ratio, 9 parts water to 1 part chemical. Simple, controlled, and totally safe for the substrate. Now, if you are tackling heavy, dense organic growth or stubborn black spot on hard masonry or concrete, then yeah, you might step up to 2.5% active. But you choose that percentage based on the surface survey and the biological contamination, not by random guessing or glugging extra chemical into the tank. And let's talk about that glugging habit for a second, because free pouring chemical without measuring costs you serious money. If you're mixing twice as strong as necessary, you are literally doubling your chemical costs on every single job. On top of that, you are running a huge financial risk with potential property damage claims, and you are creating hazardous chemical runoff that can end up in storm drains. That is an absolute compliance nightmare if local authorities get involved. When you start recording exact active percentages on your site paperwork, on your COSH assessments, and in your method statements, everything changes. Commercial facilities managers notice that level of detail immediately. It shows that you understand exterior chemistry, safety regulations, and surface care. It separates you from the splash and dash operators overnight and protects your business legally if a dispute ever arises. If you want to move away from guesswork and truly master professional exterior cleaning standards, go visit softwashing.uk. You can enroll in our CPD certified Softwash training course, learn proper chemical handling and application math, and become an approved Softwash applicator. Work safe, measure your mixes, and I will see you on the next one.